My name is John Knowles. I'm the offensive coordinator for Northside High School, and I also coach the quarterbacks and the backs.
Coach Knowles, what are the things that you're really preparing for Wallace Rose Hill? We know that they were a 1A team, but they were 1A state champs.
Yes.
They've moved up to 2A, and they are really tough. They beat Havelock.
Yeah, and the thing about Wallace Rose Hill, the thing that jumps out at you on film is their athleticism. They do some interesting things defensively, but the one thing all 11 kids do is run to the football. And that the biggest thing about an offensive coordinator is we need to take advantage of our athleticism and get them out of the box and attempt to do a little bit what Havelock did. But honestly, we're a power run team, we're a spread run team, and with our quarterback situation and our wide receivers, we feel that we match up well against their athletes. But again, as a defense, the team speed is pretty significant, as you saw last week against Havelock.
Elliot Dangerfield has been developing well as the quarterback of the team. Each week we can see more and more of how he's playing. What are some of the things we've been working on with Elliot and also working on with the line? He was getting better protection last week.
Yeah, and again, we're probably the thinnest on the offensive line that have been here in quite a while. But the thing about Elliot is that we brought him along. If you remember Jonte from last year, we like to run our quarterback. We feel by running our quarterback, it puts more pressure on the defense. So that's really the biggest thing we've been working on, because Elliot can spin it with the best of them. He can throw the football. There's no doubt about that. Again, his read progressions have improved every week, and like you said, we've kind of figured out the offensive line against Clinton, and we had a lot better protection, and we hope that carries over to this week.
Elliot showed that he could run this past week. I saw some pretty nice running on his part, and he's learning when to hold him and when to fold him, so to speak, when you have to tuck that ball under your arm and take off if you can't find the open receiver.
Yeah, and the thing about Elliot is, this is his first full year playing quarterback, and it's always a transition, and we saw it early in the summer. I kind of didn't call necessarily plays as much for him early to kind of let him progress into the offense, but as we move forward, you're going to have to account for him, and by doing that, you put more people in the box, and that allows him to use his athletic ability and his ability to throw the football. So we feel that as we move forward in the season and we get into conference, that dual threat is really going to be a nice addition to our football team.
The team has been known somewhat as a defensive team. The defense has to hold, but you guys have to put enough points on the board to win. And the team showed this past Friday that they can come from behind when the clock seems to be against them.
Yeah, it's ironic that we came back from behind twice against Clinton in the playoff game last year. Again, one thing about Clinton is they're always a very well-coached football team. We have a lot of guys going both ways, so we got a little tired, made some big plays in that fourth quarter. And to be honest with you, it's nice to have a 6'3" Division I receiver to throw the football to, Jaira, obviously, and Demetrius. But, I felt very confident if we would get the ball back that we'd be able to move the football and score, which is, obviously what happened. But that's a nice addition when you have those bookend receivers that, you got to cover them.
Warren McMullen, running back and outside linebacker.
And you look like you're feeling pretty good. I know you cramped up at the end of the last game, so how you doing?
I'm good, feeling better, hydrating, eating better.
This is your senior year. Must be exciting. How does it feel to play your senior year, and do you miss your brother Jonte?
I do miss my brother. It was a good time playing with him, but I knew eventually that was going to come to, and hopefully in college maybe we'll play again, but just making my own name right now.
And you've had some pretty good runs for the team. You're going to be up against a tough Wallace Rose Hill. What are you looking for in this game?
This week, working on patience. This is my first time playing running back this year, so it's a new learning experience, but just working on things.
What's one of the biggest challenges in running back? You got some pretty good holes, and you knew how to make use of them in the last game. Tell me about some of the challenges working your way into this position.
I think one of the most challenges is just being patient for the line, because the line sometimes they pull and stuff, so you gotta wait for them to make the block. So sometimes that's hard.
And that's important. The line is your best friend.
Yes, ma'am.
Of the 3 games that you've played, how do you feel you have progressed in your play as a running back?
Well, the first game, I didn't really get to play that much because the score was so high. But New Hanover, that was my first time actually playing the whole game as a running back, and that was a new experience because I wasn't used to it. But Clinton, I felt more comfortable, felt like I knew what I was doing, and then the next game, I just feel like I can go out there and play.
So you're really looking forward to really getting an opportunity in this next game to put some yards on the field and I guess some points on the board as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Coach Pollock, we're coming off a win with Clinton. It was a hard-fought win here at home. You had to come from behind to take that victory. Now we're heading to a very tough Wallace Rose Hill.
Oh yeah, it's going to be an extremely tough game. You know, they won the 1A state title last 3 years. They moved up to 2A, and they can play with anybody, know what division it is, and it's going to be a tough game. And it's going to be a great environment going down to play them there at their stadium.
What is your biggest concern, trying to break through their tight defense or trying to keep their offense off the field?
Both are a real big concern. Hopefully we can score a couple points and hopefully we can shut them down just a little bit and come out on the positive end. But also I think the environment itself is going to be different for the guys. It'll be a type of environment you see playoff-wise. Fans can be extremely close to the field, nice closed-in area, and we're excited to go down there and play.
You know, when you think about it, we have the 1A champion playing against the 2A runner-up. That's actually a pretty big game.
Oh yeah, it is. Like I said, they're the state champion, and then we're the runner-up, and then they moved up to 2A. We moved up to 3A. That's a good test, and it's one of those teams that I wanted on the schedule to see where it was at. It's going to test us before conference, and we'll find out where we're at after this game.
And they beat Havelock. We know probably when we're talking conference, Jacksonville is going to be tough. All the teams are going to be tough, but Havelock is the one that we all have a lot of concern with. This team has just beaten Havelock the week before. What are you going to take from playing them into that Havelock game in October?
Well, if you can beat Havelock, everybody's measured itself against Havelock the last couple of years, team in the East Forest, 3A. So for them to beat Havelock, that's very big, and it speaks how volumes or how good their program is and type of athletes that they have to be able to put the points up on Havelock like they did. I think at one point it was up 26-7, and Havelock had to come back. So with them being able to take a lead there at Havelock, it speaks volumes on how good their team is, how good the program is, and it's going to be a tough game for us. And as I said, it's going to let us know where we're staying come this year.
So a definite measuring stick before we get into James Keenan at home, and then we have another tough road trip to Beddingfield.
Right. Yes, it's definitely a measuring stick, and I think if we can come in and play well and come out with the victory, then we should be able to handle our business against the other two teams and do well in conference. But if we can just be successful and establish some type of running game and passing game, and hopefully to carry over into the season.
And one thing that we want to remind folks that has become more important, certainly the non-conference games need to be tests of how the team is and where the team is at that point in time. But these games, if you don't win the conference, become even more critical when we talk about playoffs.
Right, it does. So we scheduled a tough non-conference game. Everybody knows that, and we wanted that. So we will be tested, and then I think that we at least come out at least at 500. I think we can come out better than that, but we do that. And I think we're sitting pretty good when we go into conference.
How are we health-wise? How did we come out of the Clinton game?
Health-wise, we're pretty good. We got a couple guys that are banged up, but they're expected to play.
Run that again.